Week 17 NFL was genuinely the craziest week of NFL football. I don't think it was very close either. Obviously, the first game we're talking about is Bears-Niners. Absolutely cinema. Niners might really get the #1 seed. That's not Brock Purdy, that's vanilla Mike Vick. GG's game of the year. If you didn't get to watch this game, you missed out. But let's talk about it, because I think I have some really hot takes for this game that may bother some. Bears-Niners was a crazy game, and we kind of knew it was going to be crazy because on the very first play of the game, Brock Purdy throws a pick six. Now, it was a tip drill pick six, but still, like, this was the very first thing that happened. I'm talking like 5 seconds into the game. So you just knew this, literally 15 seconds into the game. You knew it was going to be crazy. The stat lines were bonkers too. Caleb Williams threw 330 yards. Brock Purdy threw 300 yards. Luther Burden was a monster today. Luther Burden really didn't do that much at the start of the year, but with Odunze out, Luther Burden became the clear wide receiver one for Chicago today. 138 yards, 8 receptions, and a touchdown was crazy. Luther Burden out of Mizzou. McCaffrey was McCaffrey. This guy is inhuman. Ricky Pearsall had a really good game. Tatum Bethune had a really good game. This is why I want to talk about this game the most, though. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I'm going to start with my hot take. I don't think either of these teams can play well in the playoffs. And the reason I think that is because of how this game went. This game was high scoring. It was cinema. It's what you want out of a football game. But every single touchdown catch play was the easiest, most non-existent defense I've ever seen in my whole life. And I'm not shit-talking. It was actually pitiful. Now, there were, like, some crazy highlights. Like, the Brock Purdy juke rushing touchdown was crazy. But some of these touchdowns was just like, what are we doing? Where is the defense? Where is everybody? Here's a great example. Here's this catch from Ricky Pearsall, right?
Like, on the outside.
The Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles couldn't buy a yard. And then you come watch this Niners-Bears game.
Back out. Luter goes down.
There's nobody within 5 yards of him when he caught the football.
Flip around.
And he kind of cooked his ass, low-key. Like, he low-key sat his ass. That's it's a nasty route. But that was the story of the entire game. Here's Brock Purdy's third touchdown right here. Just read option rushing touchdown, Freebie. This was the go-ahead touchdown. This was the touchdown to win the game. This was San Fran winning it all. They're on the 40. Where the fuck is everybody? Dude, this is at the end of the game. This is with the game on the line. And Juwan Jennings is going to catch it with nobody within 5 yards. Then he's just going to walk around you. And then you get a hell of a downfield block. Respect to the downfield block. Sorry, we're listening to this in Spanish for some reason. But, dude, this game was like, nobody played defense. Guys, the only reason Chicago didn't score on the final play was because they ran out of time. It was a crazy game. It really was. And it was a damn good game. But it made me think, like, can either of these teams actually win in the playoffs? If this is what their defense looks like?
Seconds left.
This was the final play of the game. Second and goal with 4 seconds left.
Here is Williams. He's got to throw
like,
to the
what
end.
is going on in this game?
Williams keeps the play alive.
This shit was crazy, too. This final play of the game was nuts.
He's got to get rid of it. Retreating, he throws.
Good defense. I mean, that was like the first stop of the whole game.
I mean,
also, this might have been the funniest part of the game. Chris Collinsworth couldn't help but glaze Patrick Mahomes. What the fuck is this? Look at this.
If this were Patrick Mahomes, we'd be screaming, oh, Patrick Mahomes. I know.
No, you would be screaming that, Chris.
Would be screaming. But that's the way it works because he has made those kinds of plays.
Oh, my God. Just the casual Mahomes glaze, literally for no reason. This, by the way, was the best play of the game. Brock Purdy's disgusting.
All night long.
Brock Purdy was actually playing out of his mind. He was just toying with him. Tell me this, though. Like, sorry I'm being a hater. This was such a good game. How can the Bears or the Niners win in the playoffs like this? This is not how it goes in playoff football, bro. You know what this is? You know why I say this, guys? Because I have experience. You know what it looks like when you've got an awesome offense and a shitty defense? You get embarrassed by the Commanders, you lose in the NFC Championship, and then you don't make the playoffs. like we're not making the playoffs. It was a crazy game, though. It really was a crazy game. Wie ein will ein Spiel sein? I assume this is like NFL Germany. NFL Deutschland? Yeah, it literally, they just kept tying up the game, kept scoring, kept tying it up until the clock ran out. Like, you're telling, dude, if Chicago didn't run out of clock, they just win the game because they were going to score for sure, you know? It's kind of funny that that's what ended it. Brock Purdy's on a tear right now, by the way. He's on an absolute tear. He's only he's only good because he has Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and Trent. Banger comment. He literally had none of them today. Obviously, that's the joke, but I had to think about it for a second. Debo's in Washington. Ayuk's getting traded. Kittle was injured, and Trent got injured in, like, the first quarter. Yeah, genuinely a disgusting game. Christian McCaffrey's gross. Guys, you want to know why I'm being a hater, actually? You really want to know? Fantasy championship. Holy shit. I'm playing against Brock Purdy in the fantasy championship. He dropped 38 points in the fantasy championship, and I'm down by 54 points. You think my season's over? It's actually not. This is the championship, and I still have anti-Semitic Puka Nacua and Bijan Robinson. Anti-Semitic Puka Nacua is due for 40. I need Bijan to give me 15. 40 out of Puka, 15 out of Bijan, and I win the championship. You know what's so crazy? Like, I'm down by 55 in my fantasy championship, but I actually have a chance with 2 players left. Normally, I'd say it's cooked, but Bijan and Puka, those are the perfect final 2 guys to have. Those are the exact final 2 guys that I need. That's my hope, anyway. That's my hope. Tyler Shuck at 22, but I mean, I had Josh Allen at 23, so I made the right call there. The only real substitution I could have made was Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, but Travion Henderson had 19 carries. He just was incredibly ineffective, even as they shit on the Jets. So that was just sad. Realistically, I've got the right lineup in. Devonta Smith didn't do a damn thing. That game was so weird. Let's talk about that game next. Okay, so we saw Bears-Niners where defense legitimately didn't exist and everyone was scoring at will, and it was a crazy game, right? The polar opposite of that was Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, there's a really obvious reason for this. It's because the weather was shitty, but it's just so funny to think about. Like, these are 4 of, like, what you would imagine to be the best teams in the league: the Bills, the Eagles, the Bears, the Niners, and their games were so different. And it wasn't even close. And this is what scares me for both Chicago and San Fran. I guess it kind of scares me for the Bills and the Eagles too, because this game was so ugly in comparison. The Bills couldn't do a single thing. 0-0-0. This was, guys, 12-13. It was 14-14, 4 minutes into the Bears-Niners game. It's like I was watching 2 different sports. Eagles-Bills, though. Bills could do nothing until the fourth quarter, and then they get to the fourth quarter. They play their hearts out. And rather than sending it into overtime, okay, so it's 4th and goal. They're down by 7. Josh Allen tush push. My fantasy team is so excited. Great work. We get some freebie buckets, right? So they get in.
Buffalo.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I thought they were going to kick the PAT and go into overtime. The reason I thought that was the Philadelphia Eagles had 17 yards of offense in the second half. So in my head, it's like Philly's playing horrible. Bills have momentum. Send it to overtime. You're playing better. Sean McDermott's like, you know what? No, we have a perfect look. Let's go for 2. So they go this kind of like fake play action, more like just a drop back pass. He's got some heat on him. Josh Allen. It's a Clay standing. Clean throw. Butt naked, wide open Khalil Shakir. Fucking whiffed it. There is no other way to describe that. So it's like, technically, the 2-point call was correct because they knew that they had a play that was going to work. The problem is Josh Allen missed a butt naked, wide open throw. What's insane? Someone said bad call from coach. I'm going to be honest. I think this is so casual. This is such a casual take. He's wide open. It's a perfect call from coach. I think they should have gone to overtime anyway. I do still think that. But having this good of a 2-point play lined up and you miss it because, like, this is like missing a layup. Is it a bad call from coach if you miss a layup to win a basketball game? I think this is an incredibly casual take. I just can't believe that he whiffed it. He fucking whiffed it. There's no other way to describe it. And then the Bills would have won. They don't. It doesn't matter that much. You're going to the playoffs anyway, but I think that's really just debilitating for your confidence. You never should have lost this game, but here's the other thing. It's like, hey, if you don't play absolutely pitiful football leading up to that point, you don't need this miracle comeback in the fourth quarter. Can you believe that this is the same sport? This is Jalen Hurts, guys. Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts with 110 yards and a touchdown. He did nothing. All game long, he did more or less nothing. A.J. Brown looked good. Saquon got kind of bottled up. Saquon has really not looked like himself this year. He's been better in the second half of the year, but he hasn't looked like himself. And then the Bills just didn't execute. They also had a 4th and goal that they went for and did not get. The NFL's wide open. I'll tell you that. Here's the thing, though. It's like, what happens when one of these teams matches up with Chicago or San Fran? Because now after watching the Chicago San Fran, it's like, wow, those are incredible offenses, but exploitable defenses. Right here, this was like 2 really good defenses and offenses that I would consider to be good, especially Bills. Not so much Eagles as of recent, but I just don't know what the fuck to think for the playoffs. I think this is better news for the Eagles and the Bills in the playoffs than it is for the Bears and the Niners. I don't know why I'm hating so much, guys. This isn't hate. This is me thinking about the playoffs, okay? If I wanted to hate, I'd talk about my dog shit Detroit Lions losing to Max fucking Brosmer, okay? That's hate. That's pure anger. We have the same record as the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings have suited up J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer all season long. We've had a fully healthy, full roster for the most part, outside of like Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. And we've got the same record as the Minnesota Poverty Vikings, bro. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I think really what I'm just saying is that okay, here's my message to you. If either Chicago or San Fran goes to the NFC Championship, I will take it all back. I will eat my words. I will shut the fuck up. I will issue a formal apology to all Bears or Niners fans if either of them makes the NFC Championship. And most likely one of them is going to get the 1 seed. Nah, not most likely. Niners really could get the 1 seed, but regardless, they're not making it. These are exploitable ass teams. When nobody has any trouble exploiting your defense for like 30 plus yards a pop, you've got an issue. It's that simple. Giants-Raiders, this was kind of a hilarious game because it was the Poverty Bowl. This was like the we're actively trying to lose game for both teams, except Raiders took it very, very seriously. Raiders benched Max Crosby. That's how much they were tanking. Isn't that funny? Like, they actually wouldn't let him play. There's actually beef in the Raiders organization. Max Crosby wanted to play, and they were like, hey, get bent. We're trying to lose to get the first round pick. These are the only 2 teams that were 2-13, and the New York Giants basically proved that they don't give a shit about that, because I think a lot of people thought this might be a close game as they're both trying to tank, and that just did not happen. The Raiders, you win. You won the Tank Bowl, and now you can draft Victor Wembanyama. Congratulations. Seahawks, Panthers, this was an ugly game for a while until the Seahawks pulled away. This is kind of what I mean about this defense thing. So Seahawks defense is really, really good, right? I think if the Seahawks played either the Bears or the Niners, I have Seahawks by 21 plus. I don't even think it'd be particularly close. I'm talking in the playoffs, okay? Like, I don't know. I really like the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are super, super good. Seahawks-Panthers was a very ugly game in the first half, but I think what this shows more than anything is just how good Seahawks defense is. Seahawks defense gives their offense so many opportunities. It's unbelievable how good Seahawks defense is. And I really didn't expect that going into this season. I didn't think of Seahawks as like the best defensive unit, but I feel like they have proven to be the best defensive unit. And I think that's what really carries you in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see. I have Seahawks as one of my top 3 teams in the NFL right now. Patriots put an ass whooping on the Jets. Drake May had a near unbelievably perfect stat line. 19 for 21, 5 touchdowns is actually gross. That's how you win the league's MVP. 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a spectacular record for your team with a not super talented roster. Drake May is actually him. I did not, Drake May was what, North Carolina? Is that where Drake May played? Either way, I remember when Drake May got drafted, and I didn't think anything special of him, and I kind of thought Patriots fans were a little delusional, and I'm big time eating my words on that one. But yeah, Patriots, Jets, it was basically, hey, Jets, get shit on. And then that was the whole game. The Buccaneers fall off must be studied. The Buccaneers fall off must be studied. We're losing to Quinn Ewers and the Miami Dolphins. Let me say that again for everyone in the back. We're losing to Quinn Ewers and the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers was a 6th-round quarterback pick. Quinn Ewers was almost Mr. Irrelevant. And this is Baker MVP Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Emeka Egbuka losing to the Miami Dolphins. Guys, the Buccaneers season is not over and you lose this game. It's okay. It's one thing if you're 5-10 and you're like, okay, let's just take a game off. Why don't we take an L? They needed this win because the Panthers are 8-8 and the Buccaneers are 7-9, and the final game of the season for the NFC South is Buccaneers-Panthers. I'll be totally honest. I don't actually know how that shakes out. Hold up. I was going to say this was like a win and go to the playoff game, but there's a bunch of like crazy scenarios that need to occur for that exactly to be the case. There's actually a chance for a 3-way tie for the division, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But the NFC South also has the Atlanta Falcons, who are 6-9 right now. So there's actually a world where the Falcons win out and you have an 8-9 Panthers team, an 8-9 Buccaneers team, and an 8-9 Atlanta Falcons team. I got to say, this seems very unlikely because the Falcons are about to play the Rams. I think the Rams are incredible. So if they somehow beat the Rams tonight, it's going to get real weird in the NFC South. Either way, that's a huge game. That's a huge game coming up for those two teams. Jaguars Colts. I think closer than we expected. It would have been cool to see like Phillip Rivers get. Wouldn't it have been cool to see some Phillip Rivers shit? Didn't everybody want to see some cool Phillip Rivers shit? I think we all kind of did, right? And he came close. I feel like he always came close in a few of these games, but not quite. I think this was an off game for Jacksonville. I also do think Indianapolis' defense is very good. I think this Colts team will go down as one of the biggest what ifs. Like, what if Daniel Jones didn't get injured? It was such an exciting dark horse, very potent defense, very impressive offense. It's just sad. I mean, they went and got, like, they tried. I respect them for trying. I'm so glad they went out and got Phillip Rivers and tried. This was a cool storyline for us, but it's over for the Indianapolis Colts, I think. I just don't see it. Also, you know, it's like slowly, quietly been really good the last couple weeks. Parker Washington. Parker Washington has really bbeen quite incredible over the last couple of games. He's got against Denver, he had 145 yards. Against the Colts, he had 115 yards. Yeah, he put up 260 yards in the last 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody had him in fantasy football or was starting him for your playoffs, but Parker Washington would have clutched up big time if that was the case. So that's a fun game. Cowboys Commanders, it's a divisional game, so you know you want to ball out. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt was very effective with his few touches on my fantasy bench, but Cowboys get the win. I don't have much to say about these games that are like, I don't want to be rude, but almost meaningless. I mean, that's kind of how this Lions game felt too. I was so fucking checked out. Even going into this game, I'm just going to be honest, I was so checked out. What do I even say? How the fuck do you lose this game? This is actually pitiful. We're back, you guys. The Detroit Lions are back. We're back to being poverty. You know when they say your playoff window shut? Our playoff window didn't shut. Our playoff window slammed in my fucking face, bro. You know when a pretty girl's walking behind you, so you go to hold the door open for her, but then you remember that you're an incel chud and you have no chance, so you just slam that shit and then hold it and make... Sorry. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I actually don't care because I'm actually so insanely infuriated by the fact that we lost to the Max Brosmer. Max Brosmer. We lost to Max Brosmer and the Minnesota Vikings. Max Brosmer will actually be like fitting me for a suit at JCPenney in 2 weeks. I'm not kidding. I'm fairly certain he's a manager at the local JCPenney's. I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke. This isn't a meme. I'm pretty sure he works at JCPenney's, and he just beat my fucking team. Look at his regular season stats. He has 270 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a 12.4 QBR. We were 15-2 last season. We were 15-2 last season with the exact same goddamn roster, except we didn't even have Aiden Hutchinson. This is a poverty franchise if I've ever seen one. Ugh. The good news, of course, is we're going to the Super Bowl next year. Nobody will stop us. Jordan Addison had the Vikings' longest rush of the season against us. How you can win a game with 51 passing yards against what is supposed to be a very good team is hilarious. It is hilariously pitiful. You're seeing how, I mean, you saw how good Ben Johnson was in that Bears game, didn't you? I always say it, bro. Football is is so much more strategy and chess than it is anything else. And when you lose your strategist, when you lose your Ben Johnson, when you lose your Aaron Glenn, you're left with a bunch of talented players and nothing to do with them. You go 8-8 as the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, Kane, if you somehow don't believe that theory, if you're somehow delusional and you don't believe that theory, meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers, with nobody on this roster, is 12-4 competing for the NFC's 1 seed. The San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan is such a good coach, by the way. Let me just throw that glaze out there real quick. The San Francisco 49ers are missing like $300 million worth of players. Trent Williams, George Kittle, Fred Warner. I'm not even scratching the surface. Brandon Ayuk, they lost Deebo Samuel at the end of before. I think the only star players, and they didn't even have Brock Purdy for half of this season, and they did this shit with Mac fucking Jones, is... Oh my God. You know what? I had a taste. I had 2 years. I had the smallest taste of what it's like to have a franchise that goes to the playoffs. And now we're back to being ass, and we're going to be ass next year, and be ass the year after that. I think about our window. What's our window? I mean, we go to the Super Bowl next year and we win it. And then the year after that, we go to the Super Bowl and we win it. But then what, you know? What after our 2 Super Bowls do I have to look forward to? Texans, Chargers. Every time these two play, I think of their playoff game, their playoff matchup that was so poverty. Texans are on an absolute tear, and their defense is playing really, really good. So I like the Texans. I still really like the Texans as a sleeper playoff team. I strongly like the Texans as a sleeper playoff team, actually. Ravens, Packers. Who saw this coming? Packers are looking a little suspect. 41 piece out of Baltimore, 37 piece out of Cincy, 34 piece out of the Saints, 42 out of the Patriots, 34. Like, we didn't used to see scores like this in the NFL all the time. Offenses are getting way better. Naturally, you still have the Steelers and the Browns. Oh my God. Wow, there were so many games to talk about here. Derrick Henry had an unfreaking believable game. It's so difficult to be this good at this age, and we're watching 2 of the best, like, father time defiant running backs at the same time, and that's Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry's a little bit older, but Derrick Henry is 31. Doing this shit. 216 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 36 rushing attempts. And I know there's no Micah Parsons, but at the start of the season, I think one of the biggest things people talked about kindly of the Packers was that they had such a good defense. And I kind of want to say had, because good defenses don't allow 41. They don't allow 216 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns from a 31-year-old. I can't say 31. It's Derrick Henry. It's Derrick Henry. But yeah, that was a hell of a game. So hopefully you had Derrick Henry in your fantasy playoffs. I don't know if anybody would have, though. Broncos, Chiefs. Why do the Denver Broncos struggle with bad teams? Why do the Denver Broncos struggle to beat the Chris Oladipo Kansas City Chiefs? I understand there's a rivalry, XYZ. Kansas City is playing for nothing here. Kansas City is playing for virtually nothing. Denver's playing for everything. I think this was a very bad omen for the Denver Broncos. This would scare, if I'm a Broncos fan, this would scare me going into the playoffs for sure. I think 13-3 in some regards speaks for itself, but this should... See, it's like there's 2 ends of the spectrum. And the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. They're still really good and they have a good defense. But like this, I like this. 42-10, you're clearly the better team. You just shit on them. Make sure all your fans know that you're built like that. I don't know. It's the Chiefs, though. I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. Arizona Cardinals, you are a poverty franchise. Every time I do a game recap, it's the same shit. It's Arizona Cardinals are ass. Cincinnati Bengals, Chase Brown had a crazy game. Chase Brown went stupid in this game. 101 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he had 3 receptions for 40 yards as well. He's been really good these last couple weeks. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were both really, really good, too. I should hope so. You're spending $200 bazillion across the both of them. This touchdown was nasty. I like these little highlights because hopefully my video won't get pulled off of YouTube when I watch them like this, so it's kind of nice. What else we got to talk about here? Steelers, Browns. You know what I thought was so funny about this game? It kind of felt like Cleveland was being petty as fuck. Sorry. It kind of felt like Pittsburgh was being petty as fuck, is what I meant to say. It felt like Pittsburgh's only goal was to stop Myles Garrett from getting the record, and they did not give a shit about winning. And it's like, dude, guess what? The memes are going to be correct. The Mike Tomlin memes are going to be correct. They're going to be 9-8. Who's their last game of the season? Do they somehow go 10-7? I don't know, but it literally felt like, hey, guys, how do we stop Myles Garrett from getting the record? Let's put all of our effort into that. Let's just not even try to win the game. Oh, also, final play of the game, we're going to keep targeting Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We're going to keep targeting washed-ass MVS with Denzel Ward on him. So it's like MVS's third straight your-ass foot. Dude. And you say to yourself, why are you going to MVS? I know why you're going to MVS. Because DK Metcalf punched a Lions fan, and he's suspended, is why. You know how different this game is with DK Metcalf? Even with DK Metcalf, the Pittsburgh Steelers have almost the worst wide receiver room in the National Football League. I think the Tennessee Titans probably got you beat, but the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room is ass. You've got a super washed MVS. You've got Calvin Austin, who's 5'9", and he's probably their best wide receiver outside of those guys. You got Roman Wilson out of the University of Michigan, who is okay. And outside of that, who do you have? Pat Freiermuth is the leading in receptions, not taking anything away from him. But not having DK Metcalf was gigantic in this game. Not only do they need to retain DK Metcalf, but they got to get another wide receiver. They have to draft a wide receiver or trade for one or get one in free agency. There's no question. I'd be pissed if I was Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this ball he throws to MVS is a money ball. You just need a competent wide receiver to catch it. This is a money ball. I mean, seriously, that ball is directly through his hands. That DK Metcalf snags the shit out of that. Yeah, but a nice win for Cleveland just for fun, I suppose, really, because there's not much going on here. Pittsburgh does not have that division clinched up now, though, because Ravens are 8-8. So if Ravens win, Steelers lose, it's a tie. I don't know who it goes to or how that works. I'm sure there's a bunch of science of strength of schedule and wins and losses that goes into it, but it'll be exciting to see if it pans out that way. Saints-Titans. Tyler Shuck's been really good. I think that's the main takeaway from this. Tyler Shuck has been really good. So the start of the season, he wasn't really in, but these last couple of games, he's kind of been on a tear. In his last 5 games, he's got 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,300 yards. The Saints are on a 4-game win streak, a quiet, more or less pointless 4-game win streak, but one nonetheless. Look at this game against Carolina, 272 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. 308 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and 333, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm not going to pretend like the Tennessee Titans or the New York Jets are good. There was some merit to Tyler Shuck shooting up the draft boards. That's really all I'm saying. Saints are in a lot of... Like, no one was supposed to really be good for the Saints. I think it's very smart what they're doing. And I think that might actually be the franchise quarterback in New Orleans. Cam Ward is the franchise quarterback in Tennessee. He did some crazy shit this game, but he also is so turnover prone. Cam Ward kind of has the, you know who I think he has? I think he has the Josh Allen career trajectory. And just hear me out for a second. Do you remember when Josh Allen was the most turnover prone quarterback in the league? You guys remember that? There was like this season where he turned the ball over more than any other quarterback, and then the following season, he was just nuts. Like, he was so good, and he was so efficient with the football. Cam Ward is really, really good on a dog shit team, and he's turnover prone. I think in 2 years, Cam Ward can have that trajectory where, like, he handles the ball well, he doesn't fumble it, he doesn't turn it over so much, he makes smarter reads, because the natural talent is off the charts with this guy, and he's playing pretty solid with Tennessee. It's not like he's just naturally talented and that's all he's got going for him. He's not a bust. I think Cam Ward's still really, really good. I'm excited to see what he can do. Speaking of which, I think Shedeur Sanders might actually be the Browns franchise quarterback. Shedeur Sanders looked better than anybody over there, and he's got them multiple wins. I really hope Shedeur Sanders does become Cleveland's franchise quarterback. Stats are a little ugly. I'm not a CBSE, bro. I'm not just a certified box score enjoyer. Who came up with that acronym? That's a pretty good one. That guy must be handsome and smart. What else do I got to say? Did I miss Thursday Night Football? What was Thursday Night Football? That was this game. Well, it wasn't really Thursday Night Football. It was Christmas Day Football, which was also my Lions, so I actually didn't miss those for once. Obviously, we got to talk about some of the highlights here. I think one thing we do got to talk about with the Bills loss, dude, this is what was funniest about the Bills loss. It was the fact that to get in range was a literal miracle. Josh Allen just throws this moon ball to Brandon Cooks? How old is Brandon Cooks now? Brandon Cooks a legend. Brandon Cooks is making this catch, bro. To get them in range, just to tush push a touchdown in, to whiff a 2-point conversion, like... The Bills can only convert miracle plays, I guess. If the play's too easy, if it's a layup, there's no way. But if it's a half-court buzzer beater to tie it up and send it to OT, you bet your ass they're cashing it. I mean, that wasn't even the only one crazy catch, too. Tyrell Shavers. Tyrell Shavers does this on 2nd and 7. What was in the water? I know it was in the water though, because this sums it up perfectly. All that for 0 points. What are these play calls? Seriously, I don't know what the fuck McDermott was thinking. Like, honestly, the red zone possessions for Buffalo were actually pitiful for how good that team is, for how many options they have with a dual threat, gigantic quarterback, with James Cook. It's just so weird. And guess what? Keon Coleman's like, what's going on with Keon Coleman in Buffalo? Dude's on the hot seat right now, big time. This is what I mean about Cam Ward, though. Some of this shit Cam Ward does is actually crazy. Like, he's kind of a one-man army on a really bad team.
Spinning away, Chase
but look at this freak, bro.
There. Ward gets away, throws, and it's caught.
That's disgusting.
Cam Ward, a magician.
Like, that's disgusting.
Kyle Menner gives the...
And it's like he doesn't really have a choice because everybody on that roster sucks ass and they're always losing. So it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Love this play. Love the Phillip Rivers touchdown. Little play action.
There you go. First
little loft up. Look at, like, dude, look at Mo Alley Cox. This is literally a center. This is literally a Shaq. He's boxing out his defender, using the left arm to pin him. Just bobble catches it. He didn't even give it, like, he didn't even give a shit. Just dink, dink. I love that play. This is what I mean about the Phillip Rivers thing. Like, wouldn't it be cool if he won one of these games? 40-year-old, by the way, competing against a team that beat the Broncos. Well, beating the Broncos isn't that hard. My Detroit Lions could do it in their sleep. So, not really a big deal. Told him, bust down my AP. Look at my AP. Look at my AP. It's literally a Fitbit. It's literally $20. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, why was Malik Willis so good? Do the Packers have, like, a really good scheme? Or has Malik Willis been good? Malik Willis did not look good on Tennessee. Malik Willis is the backup to Jordan Love. Malik Willis looked awesome. It's overshadowed by the fact that Derrick Henry had 216 yards and 4 touchdowns. But Malik Willis looked really good. Didn't really talk about that. By the way, if you get
Baltimore gets to the line.
If you get hard counted by Mark Andrews, you deserve to lose.
Andrews is the quarterback. Did they get the move
Like,
that they
let's
need?
just be real. If you get hard counted by Mark Andrews, you deserve to lose.
Yep, they did.
We know that.
La noche para Josh Jacobs.
I love listening to the Spanish broadcast, bro.
Él mismo lo sabe. Abre la ruta en persecución. Valentine y le dice, hazte un lado.
¡Hazte
Carrington
un
Valentine, esto es especial.
¡Que te
Ahí lo tienes,
quite!
1-1.
¡Por cabrete, por
Ataca el
care!
pecho y quítate que ahí te voy.
La noche para...
You know what I'm saying. All my Spanish folks out there, you know what I'm saying. All my Mexicanos. I'm gonna have tacos tonight just for you guys.
The rookie Matt.
Backyard balling.
Play action pass on first
Look at
down.
Malik.
Willis stayed in there.
Who is
Now
that?
he's going to look to escape.
Who is that? Is that Malik Willis?
Watson in stride.
Is that third-round Tennessee Titans quarterback Malik Willis, who got benched for Will
The
Levis?
rookie Matthew
Like, what
Golden,
the
motion
fuck?
man. It's a play action
How
pass
many
on
NFL
first down.
quarterbacks are capable
Willis
of this,
stayed
but
in
they're
there
just
initially. Now
bad?
he's
They're
gonna
just
look
on
to
shitty
escape.
teams.
Delivers.
That's nasty, bro.
Another open.
Chris Collinsworth couldn't take it out of his mouth if that was Patrick Mahomes. He literally would have. He did it for Brock Purdy when Mahomes wasn't. When Mahomes is getting surgery, he did it. Actually,
Just give you an idea of
That's
how
cinema,
hard it is
bro.
coming down.
that's cinema. You gotta love it when it's like a heavy
That is
rain,
not a
heavy
miss.
snow.
That is-
Oh, I love
You
it.
need goggles. You need swim goggles.
All right, I think I covered everything. Guys, wish me luck. Wish me luck in fantasy this week. I have Bijan and Puka left in the final game, the Monday night game today, and I need 55 points. It's PPR, full PPR. I'm actually so nervous, but if there's anybody can do it, it's Puka and Bijan. Here's what I want. I want 35 out of Puka. I want 20 out of Bijan. I'm not going to be greedy. Just an easy 55 out of the two. I don't ask for much. If I lose to Brock Purdy because the Chicago Bears don't know how to play defense, I'm going to cry myself to sleep. All right, gentlemen, let me remind you, you're so handsome. I love you. Week 18's coming up, so I'll see you in fucking Cancun with Detroit. All right, I love you guys. Peace.